Hi, it's me, Alan, with two audio hoops. Today's episode, I am talking to Lanie Grant. She's a sophomore guard who was on your All-ACC freshman team last season, who averaged 7.3 points a game, shot 35% from the field, including 36% from the three-point line, and he played at North Carolina. They played in the NCAA tournament and made it to the Sweet 16, eventually falling to the conference rival Duke, but they are 11th in the preseason poll. Thanks for joining me, Lainey.
Thank you. That was a great introduction. Thank you.
With just a few days left until the season starts, how have you been preparing for this season?
That's a great question. I think that, we're 1 week away from games, which is super exciting. Like when you're in the off season, you just wish for it to be here, and then like you look up and it's like, wow, we play South Carolina next week, which is super exciting. But, just continuing to get in the gym every day. I had a couple really good sit down meetings with the coaching staffs, and we planned out my skill development for this upcoming season. We talked a lot about last year, how they saw me evolving, how they saw me continuing to grow with the performances that I have, and help me kind of continue to elevate my game in a lot of different ways. Just continuing to get me to shoot the ball consistently well from the 3-point line, finishing at the rim better. Overall, just finding my voice and finding my authentic leadership style within the team. But I've always been the kid that's kind of been willing to do whatever it takes to win. So, that's kind of the intangible trait that I carry with me in every single game. But I'm super excited for the start of my sophomore year. This team has some pretty hefty goals.
Yeah. Who is your biggest conference rival and why?
That is another great question. I think that the obvious answer is the answer that I'm going to have to go with here.
Yeah,
Definitely Duke. NC State would come at a close second, but
yeah,
this year is pretty special because in the preseason ACC rankings, we're 1, 2, 3. I know we're ranked third in the ACC, and then I'm not sure which one is one and versus two, but like all three North Carolina college schools are ranked in the top three of the ACC, which is great for the basketball, women's basketball in the triangle. But whenever we play each other, especially Duke, it's going to be a dogfight.
yeah.
It's going to be a hard fought battle. And I think there's a little extra motivation knowing that Duke knocked us out of the tournament last year. So always fun to play them. It's a great opponent, both them and NC State. So I would say those are the top two rivals.
What are your goals for this season?
I would say going into this season, as an overarching theme, we want to go farther than we did last year. Last year we ended up in the Sweet 16. So, we want that Elite Eight push. We want farther than the Elite Eight. We want, that ACC championship. We're hunting championships in North Carolina. And I think that if you ask all teams in the ACC, they tell you the same thing. And there's a lot of teams that can go out and win the ACC championship, and that's why the ACC is such a fun league to compete in because there's so much talent. There's so much, upcoming talent too, young kids that are coming in. So, just to win, and I think that's such a cliche answer, but for me, I've always kind of gone with the theory that like all of the personal accolades and all of the personal stats, like that'll come when we win. And I think that, that's what I've kind of tried to instill in myself ever since I was a young girl playing on my AAU teams all through USA basketball, that like as long as the team is winning, I'm happy. So I'd say just breaking it down game by game, and walking out with as much W's as we can.
And there are a bunch of teams, ACC teams in the top 25.
There are
Why did you choose UNC as your college?
So my recruiting process looked a bit different than the normal high school recruit. just to kind of go through it. Normally, you get recruited and then you commit as a senior in high school. I committed to North Carolina when I was a freshman in high school before I'd even played a single varsity basketball game. So my recruiting started really early. I got my first offer from the University of Richmond the summer after my seventh grade, which was like my home school from where I lived. And I knew pretty early on that I wanted to commit early and I wanted to like build a relationship with my coaching staff. And I did exactly that. North Carolina felt like home. It's a basketball school. It's, you know, the house that Michael Jordan built. When you think of North Carolina, you think of basketball. So just that entire persona, like it's just you're surrounded by people, whether that be students or teachers or other sports that just love the game of basketball. And I knew I wanted to put myself in a place like that. And also kind of circling back to the theme of like hunting wins and hunting championships. Like our entire program's theme is in pursuit. And, you know, I believe that we're building something really special. And I believe that I caught Coach Banghart at a really great point in her career. She had great success in at Princeton when she was coaching there. And you know, now she's at North Carolina, and every single year she's gotten better and better. And, you know, we continue to expect that from ourselves and from her. And she's grown to be somebody that, you know, that I love very dearly and that I trust. And committing early opened up opportunities. Like I skipped my senior year of high school and I reclassed a year early. So I got to come to college a year early. So I was 17 all of last year. And just, you know, kind of start my collegiate journey a year earlier than expected. But just building the foundational relationships with the coaches has meant everything to me. And I got blessed that I was put with such amazing teammates as well.
How did you, how did you, how did it happen when you were a freshman?
You know, freshman year is always interesting. I think that everybody kind of has the same like story of the adjustment period, and like you get there and like you're thrown so much information is thrown at you, so many new
Yeah.
experiences, like you're on your own for the first time. It's just this really exhilarating journey of like self-discovery on and off the court. And I was really lucky because I had a lot of fifth year seniors and just seniors in general that really took me under their wing and pushed me. Um, and I just say like staying true to like the things that got me to where I was, like the hard work, the knowing that I have to put the hours in the gym, knowing that I might not be the tallest or the fastest or the strongest in the court, but I will be the most skilled. So just say staying true to myself and surrounding myself with people that cared about my journey and that, you know, cared about winning and cared about competing. So it was a great experience. I learned a lot about myself on and off the court.
That's important. Who has been your hardest player to guard?
Age Beckers, definitely. I've played a lot of amazing guards. You know, Hannah Hidalgo, Olivia Miles. Um, you know, a lot of really just well-known guards. But I think playing Paige Beckers and not just, you know, sharing the court with her, but just seeing the impact that she has on young girls. You know, we played in this massive coliseum. It was like our preseason before we got to conference play in I believe it was Charlotte. We played them in Charlotte. Maybe it was somewhere in North Carolina. We ended up playing them and it was sold out. And that was like my first experience of playing in like a sold out place with like that many screaming people. And like, even though we were in North Carolina, the amount of UConn fans that traveled and the amount of like young girls that I saw just holding signs and just supporting women's basketball and how many Paige Beckers jerseys I saw, like she has inspired the younger generation and just being able to be a part of that and to share a court with her and to guard her and to just see that up and close in person. I mean, it's everything you want. Great players want to play against great players and great programs want to play against great programs. So playing UConn last year was definitely probably one of the top experiences and playing one of the top. She went number one in the draft pick, so the top guard.
I agree. Mhm. What has been your favorite experience in college so far?
Another good question. I think that playing Duke at Duke last year was was an amazing experience in general. You know, they sold out their arena, and the way that their court is kind of laid out is like their fans are like right on top of you as you're playing.
Yeah.
And the experience of like how loud that gym got and how rocking it was, and just even though there was only a handful of people that were cheering for us, and there was only a handful of people that had light blue on in there, it was just crazy. Like I couldn't hear my own thoughts. I couldn't hear my teammates. Like playing an environment like that is just so special. The amount of passion that their fans have and their school has for basketball in general. So I always look forward to those intense away games. But then I'd also say at the end of basketball, going into March Madness, we ended up having the opportunity to host West Virginia at home in the tournament. And Carmichael, I never heard it that loud. So I think whenever we can sell out arenas and whenever you're, you know, as an athlete able to perform in front of that many people, it's always pretty special and it always sticks with you.
Do you have a favorite pregame song or playlist that you like to listen before a game?
I wish that whenever people ask me this question, I wish I had one song that I could go to and that I could be like, this is my pregame song and this is what I listen to every time. But honestly, it changes depending on my mood. Sometimes when I'm super hyped up, I'll play some Billie Eilish to like calm myself down before big games, and then sometimes I'll end up playing some like Lil Baby to hype myself up. And then on the rare occasions, like there'll be times where I'll listen to Hamilton the musical before games, which is just not a very common song choice that many athletes choose to listen to, but it just kind of whatever I can do to get me to the right mindset and the right energy level before a game. It kind of changes from game to game. Sometimes I need a little pump up. Sometimes I need a little pump down. Sometimes I just need a distraction before the game starts. So those are like my three go-tos, I'd say.
Why do you like playing basketball and when did you start playing?
I played a lot of sports when I was a kid. I grew up playing gymnastics, softball, baseball with the boys. I did soccer, I did dance. I kind of tried it all, and I narrowed it down to field hockey and basketball as I was going through elementary school, like fourth, fifth grade. And I really enjoyed both of them. Got to the point where like I realized that I decided that I had to pick one if I wanted to really dedicate my time in the way that I wanted to. I obviously ended up going with basketball. So I like to tell people that I started playing basketball this summer, like seriously playing basketball this summer after my fifth grade year. And once I started, I really didn't look back, and I would just spend hours after hours in the gym after school with my trainers and with my coaches, and I'd just be repping shots. I'd be repping drills, repping ball handling. But I think the reason why I ended up choosing basketball is like not just that thrill of competitiveness that I get from the game and that thrill of winning and the high that you chase after a big game and a big moment. But it's also like this game has given me so many blessings, and it's introduced me to all of my closest friends and all of the people that I love most in the world. So being able to like have a group of like 12 to 13 other young women that are like my built-in family that was delivered to me through the game, I think that's so special. And being able to play not only like beside them, but for them and with them. I mean, it's just different than any other sport. And I wouldn't want to do anything else.
How did you pick basketball over field hockey?
A good question, because my mom played field hockey and my dad played basketball. So my mom wanted me to do field hockey. My dad, he didn't really mind which one I did, but he wanted me to lean more towards basketball. And I was pretty set on field hockey. I just liked I was good at it. I was really good at field hockey, and I was always a kid to like to do what I was good at and not like to do the things that I wasn't good at. Um, but my younger brother, I kind of have to give him credit for why I chose basketball and why I stuck with basketball. I used to have to go and sit down and watch him train after school, and my mom would drop him off. I'd have to go because I was so young, and I just sit there and watch him dribble the ball between his legs and do a bunch of drills. And like at this point, he's super young. He's like second grade. I'm like fifth grader, so he's killing it. He's always been natural talent at basketball. And then one day, the head trainer when my mom was sitting there, asked me, "Hey, do you want to jump in?" And I guess I was extra bored that day. I said yes, and you know, ever since then, I haven't looked back. I caught the bug, and I was in the gym with him 2 to 3 hours every single day after school. Just at that point, you don't even realize that you're putting in that much work when you love it so much. So just doing what I enjoy doing, and like I said, it introduced me to a lot of really close friends. So.
Who is your role model?
Like I could name so many different people, but like my parents, both of them. My dad was my coach growing up, so I think that that's the easiest answer, and that's probably the truest answer. Ever since I was little, him and my mom have always just pushed me to really do what I want to do and what I love to do, and it just so happened that that was basketball. He supported from the jump. Both of them did. Even my brothers did. Everybody kind of just poured 100% into my journey. And I know I wouldn't be here without them, and I'm so thankful for the support that they've given me. But he's taught me everything that I know about basketball, about life, about conflict and about communication, about all these really important things that you have to grow to learn as you get older. He's somebody that I look up to and that I'm super thankful for.
Who is your favorite athlete?
So when I was younger, I was always the smallest kid on the court. I was always the shortest. I was always like the least athletic. And I played point guard. So, I had to be pretty smart about what I did with the ball, especially like that young. So I grew up watching Sue Bird and Steve Nash because they were a little bit undersized point guards. And I would just go on YouTube and I'd just watch their highlights over and over, and I'd rep the moves that I saw them do on the basketball court. So, ever since I was younger, like those were my go-to players that I really gravitated towards. And like now I watch a lot of Luca, I watch a lot of Steph Curry, watch a lot of WNBA in general, I'd say. But, my go-to and my OGs are definitely Sue Bird and Steve Nash.
Who is your favorite WNBA player and why?
I would say right now my favorite player is Sabrina Ionescu. I watched her in college, so I kind of have those core memories of like I was a big Oregon fan while she played for them, just because I enjoyed watching her play. And I thought she was super exciting. I have these core memories of like screaming at the TV, Oregon women's basketball. And then she went to the league and she's had such a great career. But I had the privilege of being backstage at the NBA All-Star. I'm pretty sure it was like 2 or maybe 3 years back when Steph Curry and Sabrina Ionescu went head to head. So I got to meet her actually, and I got to sample the court that they did the 3-point contest on. So like ever since then, I just feel like I've had like a small mini connection to her. But I also just I love her game. I see myself reflected a lot through her. She's also a player that I've watched a lot of and that I've kind of, shaped my game around. But I would have to say Sabrina Ionescu right now.
Yeah, she's great. What do you like to do on your free day when you're not playing basketball?
I love to read and I love to write. So I spend a lot of times in books and in literature, which I feel like is not the common answer. So I like to read and I like to write. And then now that I live in the dorm, so I live with the three other freshmen on the basketball team. We watch a lot of TV together, depending on the mood of the day. We'll watch series, we'll watch movies, we like to go out to eat. But I'd say the main things that I do, I love to go thrifting. So I'll spend my free days kind of just chilling around the dorms, reading my books, going thrifting on the days that allow it. So nothing crazy, just some simple things to fill my bucket.
What is your favorite book to read?
Great question. I love fantasy and I love dystopian books. So I think my favorite series in general is The Hunger Games. I could watch those movies over and over again. I haven't read those books in a while, so but I'd have to go with Hunger Games, and like obviously Harry Potter is amazing too. I don't think you can go wrong with Harry Potter, but
My brother loves Harry Potter.
just such a great world. I mean, it's just, it doesn't get much better than wizards and dark lords and running around trying to save the world.
And my final question is, what is your favorite ice cream flavor?
If you had asked me that question a couple months ago, I'd definitely say just like vanilla, which is so basic. But I think with vanilla, you can add a lot of ingredients that make it better. So
Yeah.
I'd never just eat plain vanilla. I'd get it in a sundae. But now for some reason, like my go-to is like birthday cake. And one of our other freshmen, her name is Talia Henderson. She's from Arizona. She loves ice cream. So I've gotten a lot more ice cream this year than I have last year. So she's made me sample a couple flavors that I never thought that I'd like, and I always kind of stayed away from ice cream. Not even ice cream from birthday cake flavor because I don't know, I just like my vanilla, but she convinced me to try it and I really enjoyed the birthday cake. So
Those are two of my favorite flavors.
yeah, those are the good
Thanks
ones.
for joining me, Wendy. If you want to be on our channel at Shoot on Your Hoop, DM us on Instagram. Bye.
Bye.